members of our communities not going to school.
Madam Zono Jambe, the principal of St. Teresa's Upper Basic School, who doubles as the chairperson of Education for All campaign network, expressed optimism that with the introduction of school improvement grant, the issue of a child missing valuable lessons due to school levies such as Mufti Day will soon be a thing of the past, saying the abolition of school levies aims at creating access and quality education for all. She then called on teachers and parents to help in improving the children with the necessary support to acquire quality education.
The abolishment of levies in lower basic schools will enable us meet the second EFA goal, which states that by 2015, all children, particularly girls, children in difficult circumstances, and those belonging to ethnic minorities have access to and complete free and compulsory primary education of good quality. For the abolishment of levies to be truly established, teachers, parents, and school children all have a role to play in ensuring that all children within the confines of the Gambian boundary develop his or her abilities to the fullest.
The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Babu Karboy, explained in detail the underlying principle behind the initiative, noting that the introduction of school improvement grant is not meant to reduce teachers' take-home earnings.
Basically, they are referring to the revenue that they used to generate from the studies. But I want them to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is the exclusion that is going on in our schools as a result of the payment of levies is a cause for concern.
It is hoped that if school improvement grant is eradicated, the issue of achieving education for all by 2015 will be a reality. It is observed that school levies hinder access to education and the children from less privileged backgrounds bear the brunt of the problem. For Grts News, I am Fatou Jassi.
Municipality and West Coast region. Torrential downpours inundated streets and homes, forcing some families in London Corner to seek refuge at a local clinic. Meanwhile, in Sinchu Balia, a middle-aged man drowned after suffering an epileptic fit at his home. Well, we hope to bring you details of that report by Mamadou Jallo later in the news bulletin. Elsewhere in the Kanifing municipality, efforts are being made to reach to disaster hotspots, particularly in crowded neighborhoods in the Sarakunda metropolis. Our Abdullah Baji joined volunteers earlier, mainly from the Gambia Red Cross Society and officials of the National Disaster Management Agency, during a tour of affected areas in the KMC. That report will also come in our 10 o'clock news bulletin. Deputy Permanent Secretaries of various ministries are receiving training in minutes writing and strategic management. The capacity enhancement effort organized by the Personnel Management Office also covers communication. Fatou Jassi again.
Minutes writing and strategic management will be the focus of a week-long training for Deputy Permanent Secretaries drawn from various government ministries. Shouldering the daily and unstopping engagements of government demands some initiative, and so the building of capacity would have a significant bearing on their work as senior secretaries, especially in the areas of communications. A higher education institute of great repute, MDI, is the institution tasked to offer training on this relevant model.
As a public service training institution, MDI, in partnership with the government, share the belief that the fight against poverty, the struggle for sustainable development, the eradication of corruption and other geopolitical malice will be lost or won in our country's civil service, of course with the support from the private sector and development partners. But what it means is the civil servant would have to be the foot soldiers, the new vanguard of a disciplined and effective selfless service.
Developing communication skills, introducing participants to the latest information systems in the trade is especially critical in this endeavor.
Well, there's an underpinning issue, is that after you have described the tool that is in your hands, you will discover that you're talking about language. And unless you are in love with the language, you cannot express it to the fullest score. So that tool you have in front of you happens to be the English language. Well, you have to examine yourself as to what your own intellectual capacity is to handle that tool, your own prowess in using that tool to achieve what you want to achieve, and to see how far the use of the tool satisfies the contract which you have signed with your employer.
Secretary General, Head of the Civil Service and Minister of Presidential Affairs, Momodu Sabali, recognized with great emphasis on capacity building and effective communication in the proper formulation of national policies, noting that where communication is ineffective, the value to be derived from even when properly laid down in a particular program is lessened.
The Cabinet, as the epitome of state machinery and policy formulation, counts on the critical support and input of the civil service. Therefore, the existence of capacity gaps in the critical area of communication, such as the preparation of cabinet memoranda, potentially has a huge negative impact on the delivery of quality goods and services to the public. This is unacceptable. That is why this training has been sanctioned to strengthen your capacity in this area.
Honing the skills of bureaucrats to effectively shoulder official responsibilities, that's definitely critical in a development-driven administration. And so these senior secretaries will be going through an intensive program facilitated by the Institute seasoned professors. For Grts News, I am Fatou Jassi.
And to news just in from the Office of the President. After giving advice and warning to operators in the foreign exchange market, government has reviewed the situation again and found out that they have not complied. Therefore, government has taken the following decisions. The exchange rate of the US dollar is now fixed at $35. All licenses for foreign exchange bureaus issued by the central bank are declared null and void with immediate effect. And all intended bureau operators are to apply afresh for licenses, where the new licenses to be issued for bureau transactions are to be done strictly within the confines of the bureau, and therefore all foreign exchange transactions in the streets would be deemed illegal. No foreign exchange bureau is allowed to ship foreign exchange out of the country. All foreign exchange shipments are to be done through banks and only after approval from the central bank. Individuals traveling out of the country are required to declare foreign currency they are traveling with, and the maximum limit for foreign exchange anyone is allowed to travel with is $9,000. Furthermore, security officials are mandated to seize any amount above this threshold. Well, that takes us to our first break. When we come back, we take a look at news from outside the Gambia. Stay tuned.
Ghana's leading ICT company, assemblers of mobile phones and computers, is now in the Gambia too. We are happy to bring our services to the people of Gambia and look forward to lasting relationship with the state and its people. Come choose from RG's range of phones and computers and enjoy delightful after-sale service and the confidence of warranties that will keep your devices good as new. Visit RG at 62 Caraba Avenue, Circular KSMD, opposite the Pipeline Mass, or check out rlggambia.com for more information.
RLG, proudly yours.
Welcome back. Now the U.S. Attorney General is reforming the criminal justice system, and the centerpiece of Eric Holder's plan is the trimming of nonviolent drug offenders. As CNN Jessica Yelling reports, Holder has found support from both sides of the political divide.
A major change in the way prison sentences will be handed down, ordered by the nation's top law enforcement officer.
With an outsized, unnecessarily large prison population, we need to ensure that incarceration is used to punish, to deter, and to rehabilitate, but not merely to warehouse and to forget.
Attorney General Eric Holder announced the Justice Department will stop seeking mandatory minimum sentences for offenders accused of low-level, nonviolent drug crimes, like a small-time drug courier. Instead, they'll ask to send them to drug treatment and community service programs.
This is our opportunity to define this time, our time, as one of progress and innovation. This is our promise to forge a more just society.
He says he's discussed inequalities in the criminal justice system with the president for years, an issue the president addressed in emotional remarks after the Trayvon Martin verdict.
There is a history of racial disparities in the application of our criminal laws.
According to Holder, the U.S. holds an astounding 25% of the world's prisoners. Our federal prisons are 40% over capacity.